Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day today. We go racing here at Martinsville Speedway just for the Cup Series. No Xfinity or Truck Series races today. But we do have some big breaking news here today, and it is Stewart-HAAS Racing announcing today that Brad Keselowski will be departing from Penske to drive for them in the 41 car Stewart-HAAS Racing next season. I need to change. Things haven't been working with Penske the last few seasons, said Keselowski. Very straightforward there. This, of course, means that Custer, who currently drives a 41 car, will not be returning to Stewart-HAAS Racing next season, but he has confirmed that he already has a car lined up for next season here in the career mode. So Keselowski not going to the 4 car, that is still open with Harvick retiring. The 2 car is now open, but I have some ideas of what I'm going to do there. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of this change and where do you think Custer could be going. Keep in mind, Kevin Harvick still hasn't determined a driver for his Cup Series team yet, which will be fielding that 29 Ford Mustang next season with the sponsor as well. And just the whole car really to be determined now, as we were here at Martinsville Speedway though for the actual race this weekend in qualifying with a goal of a 20.33. I was confident we could do pretty good here. Usually we run well at Martinsville Speedway. We've had chances to win here in the past, and it just hasn't worked out on the long run. Now as we come through out of turns 4, heading down the front straightaway, crossing the line with a solid 19.840 for the Xfinity 500. We qualify in the 12th position. So honestly, not as good as I was expecting. Usually we can get up in towards that top 10 position there, as Noah Gragson and Brad Keselowski are on the front row with Kevin Harvick and Eric Jones in the McLaren there in 3rd and 4th, as you see the rest of the order here. Chase Elliott rounding out the top 30, a rough qualifying effort for him, and at the very bottom of the field we got BJ McLeod. Alright boys, we know what we can do at Martinsville. We've had some strong races here in the past. Dover didn't quite go like we wanted it to there at the end, but I'm confident we can bounce back today, so let's go have a good one. There you hear myself on the radio as we get ready to go green for the Martinsville Xfinity 500 at the paperclip. Very excited for this one. Not starting where we want to be really starting here. As you see Austin Dillon looking a little bit cold there. You see that little snowflake symbol. That means he's going to be very slow today. Joey Logano still a rival, but we're getting so close to him being not a rival anymore, as Kevin Harvick is well prepared. You see the fire symbol for him, meaning that he's going to be pretty fast today, likely here as we get ready to go green here from Martinsville at the paperclip for the Xfinity 500. Now as a green flag is out, and we are underway from the 12th starting position. On our inside, we got the 99 of Daniel Suarez as we actually get forced 3 wide into turns 1 there. Derek Kraus in the 95 forced it up the inside, caught me way off guard. Fortunately, nothing really comes out of that now. As you guys know, Derek Kraus will be in that second 2311 car expansion team next season in the number 45, sponsored by Ineos. Now as we're to the outside again of Daniel Suarez, clearly that 99 car doesn't have a lot of speed, because I was able to just drive up right to his right hand side there and get alongside as we came through. Now out of turn 2 though, he does stay clear as Kyle Busch. He's up my inside as we go down this back straightaway, and really just looking for that opportunity, of course, to get down to that bottom lane. It's so hard to do anything up top. Of course, when lap traffic comes into play, you can definitely see myself move up to that top lane, but we would slide down in behind Kyle Busch as we came through now to start the 3rd lap and start making some progress here on the bottom. Kevin Harvick, though, he had driven away in these early few laps. We were only, of course, now 3 full laps in, but he has opened up quite the gap to second place of Noah Gragson as I'm to the inside of Ryan Preece, who's had a very up and down season so far. Definitely going to be, I think, in the mix to make it into the playoffs now. As we go down into turns, we actually get to the back there of the 21 of Ryan Preece. Damaged the front end of the car, but it wasn't really anything that was performance impacting. There's a see me kind of look at the front end to make sure we're okay, and I determined really that's not going to be any issue at all now. As Noah Gragson, he was just off the pace, and he was holding up pretty much 3rd on back, and that was, of course, making it a little bit easier for myself. We didn't have to push too hard right here as I'm once again up the inside of the 21 of Preece. Got Eric Jones in the McLaren there on that outside. He came up just short of a win a handful of races ago, as we've had so many different winners already this season. Now only, I think, on race 12 or 13 this is, and we've only had 1 multi-time winner, and that was me just recently at Bristol Motor Speedway, after we picked up win number 1 as well at Las Vegas Motor Speedway this season, as we were now up inside the top 10 into P8, looking up the inside of the 3-time champ of Kyle Busch. Now as we come through out of turns 4, we would be able to pass him, and then get to the back of Keselowski, look to the inside of him. Keselowski just announced in this episode he will not be in that 2 car next season. Instead, he'll be driving the car that's currently in front of him. The 41 of Cole Custer currently runs up there in P4. I'm going to have a completely newly designed 41 car hopefully next season, as Haas will not be remaining with Brad Keselowski, or not be staying with the 41 to be with Brad Keselowski, I should say. Now as we come through out of turns 4 to clear that 41 of Cole Custer down the front stretch. So now we're to the back of our Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Kyle Larson. Is out of nowhere. I noticed Ryan Blaney has actually gotten to the back of myself here through turns 1 and 2. Blaney has had speed so much this season, but he's had a lot of bad luck in the last 3 races, or in the last 4 races. He's actually DNF'd 2 of them, finished 39th in one of them at Talladega. In the last episode, he finally had a decent race going for him. Now as he's to the back of us, we got past Noah Gragson, who was very slow. Kevin Harvick was still out in front over second place of Harrison Burton. Now as I send it up the inside of our teammate Larson and pass him, no problem at all. So Larson clearly doesn't have the pace in that car as well that he currently needs. So Blaney would follow through, get up to P4 behind myself as we run in P3, but Blaney was putting the attack to me. I decided, you know what, it's early on in this race, I'm not going to fight you too hard. I actually just stay over to the right and let Blaney go by and take the position, because for the first time, I think, in a long time here at Martinsville Speedway, I feel like I did not have a car capable of running down second place or the leader of Kevin Harvick, and clearly Blaney was faster than me, because once he got past, he was gone as well. So I was a little bit confused here, because I didn't make any changes whatsoever in previous races to now with the car setup. I'm running, I think, preset 6 it was here, as we came through to the final now 12 laps of stage 1. Kevin Harvick, he was working his way through some lap traffic, and slowly but surely we would get ourselves involved with this lap traffic. To the back of Corey LaJoie, Austin Dillon, he was very slow. He was right at the back of the field. Now as Alex Bowman, my teammate, had actually gotten up to the back of me here. He started quite poorly in this race, and here he is up to P5, showing the speed in that car, and he was another driver among the list of drivers like Ryan Blaney that just straight up ran me down and had more pace in the car than I did, which was really throwing me for a bit of a curveball, because usually we're expected to be the ones running down these leaders and just being able to drive away from them at Martinsville, but it was the complete opposite here today, and I was so confused about it because I didn't really feel like my lap times were too bad here. We were running about 20.0 second laps pretty consistently here in this race, but we were also breaking into the 19s here and there. But you see me right there around a 20.031 now as we came through at a turn soon. I felt like those were solid laps with Bowman. He was putting a lot of pressure on the back of myself. Now as we came through, though, approaching the final lap here in stage 1, and Harrison Burton was battling for the lead with Kevin Harvick. He had taken the lead as we came through to start the final lap in stage 1 as we go down into turns 1, with Blaney also looking up the inside of Kevin Harvick, passing him for seconds. So Blaney continuing to move himself through the field as we go down this back straightaway in P4 for the final lap in stage 1, as a caution actually comes out in stage 1, ends about half a lap early here in Martinsville now as we are going to get P4, so some very solid stage points as Kyle Larson rounds out the top 10. Eric Almirola, Ryan Preece up there in the top 10, having good runs for them, as well as I decided to make some adjustments because the car started to feel a little bit too loose on the long run, so I tightened it up a bit, and then I put the right rear tire pressures down, kind of taking stuff that I learned from the Nitro League race recently into this race right here with the pit stop adjustments. Car feels pretty good on the short run and like kind of the middle portion of the run, guys, but on the long run it gets really loose, so yeah, we gotta work on that. You hear myself on the radio now as we don't gain any spots on the pit lane, so we'll be P4 as Harrison Burton had a terrible pit stop, setting him back now as we will go into the amp segment here for the start of stage 2. There you have the AM segment here from Martinsville Speedway in the Xfinity 500. Not the restart we were looking for, down to P7 after restarting P4. You saw myself get taken 3 wide into turns 1, kind of like we did on that initial start of the race with Derek Kraus as well as Daniel Suarez now. So not the restart we were looking for, and I was feeling the definite effects of the adjustments I had made on the pit lane there. Definitely was a lot tighter, but I was too tight at the very beginning of this run to make anything happen. I couldn't build up a run on Kyle Busch on the exit of the corner, but by the time I came through to about lap 8 or 9 of this stage, we had finally started to kind of get that car freeing up a little bit and into my favor. So we passed Kyle Busch with really no fight at all now as we're to the back almost up of that 0-2 car of 5th place of Eric Jones in the McLaren as we look up his inside now as we go down into turns 1, now closing in towards the halfway point of this second stage. And now out of turns 2, we are going to just about complete the pass now as we are going to clear him as we go down into turns 3. So far pretty calm here at Martinsville Speedway. Not a wild race yet now as Ryan Blaney continues to lead the way as I clip the outside wall just a little bit there on the exit of turns 4 with 18 laps to go in stage 2. But now I was trying to run down Kevin Harvick, but I was having that same issue as earlier as they were running into lap traffic in front of us, so that was our help. But I really just couldn't run those guys down. I was really struggling and just kind of staying put here in P5 as we were driving away, though, at least from the cars behind. But now as we came to lap 17, passing Austin Dillon, who is the slowest car on the track right now, unfortunately. But these front runners, Bowman, Preece, Harvick, they were all right up in this lap traffic, getting myself now to the back of them with 11 laps to go. So we come through to 10 laps to go now in the second stage. Bowman P4, Preece P3, having a great run in that 21 car. Harvick second. Blaney was running away with the stage victory at this point now as we're just trying to move our way through this lap traffic without any issues. And this brings myself right to the back of the 48 of Bowman as well as the 21 of Ryan Preece. Bowman won last episode at Dover. Dominating performance there as Kyle Busch actually gets up my inside, kind of caught me off guard. I didn't know where I wanted to go there. And then some contact there with the 48 of Bowman on that left rear quarter panel as he slides into turns 1, saves it though. Now is there 3 wide in front of us with Preece, the 37 of Creed, the rookie, and then the 4 of Kevin Harvick now as we continue to follow Kyle Busch now as we're up the inside of Bowman as I clip the back of that 18 car. A huge stack up right there, but we pass Bowman and move back up into P5, and now we got to try and once again pass Kyle Busch like we did earlier in the second stages. He's going to go up the inside of Kevin Harvick, and I'm going to follow through as well, so all of a sudden we're up into P4 with 5 laps to go in stage 2, passing the 38 of John Hunter Nemechek, who's having a very rough day in that 38 car. But now we were approaching the final lap of stage 2, and to my surprise I was struggling to close in even on the 18 of Kyle Busch here as this run came to a close. Now as we start the final lap of the stage, Ryan Blaney out front over second place of Ryan Preece. We got the 2 Ryans up there in P1 and P2, Kyle Busch P3, myself P4, Kevin Harvick rounds up the top 5 as we go down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time here in stage 2. Bowman right behind that 4 of Harvick, but doesn't have anything for him as we come through down the front stretch in the Xfinity 500 to finish P4 in this second stage. I really don't know what to do to the car at this point because it feels like if we loosen it up now, it's going to be great on the short run, but then on the long run, we're going to be terrible. So I really don't know what to do. You hear myself once again really just stating at this point in the race I didn't know what to do to the car because it's a bit slow on the short run, but it feels better on the long run, but it wasn't fast enough still on the long run, but it was still kind of starting to get loose. So I tightened it up anyways just a tiny little bit there with the wedge and hope that something's going to work out here in stage 3 because clearly we don't have a car capable of winning this race here today at the Paperclip for the Xfinity 500 as we will restart once again in P4 for the start of stage 3. Ryan Blaney, Ryan Preece on row number 1, Kyle Busch and myself on row number 2 as the green flag is out and the third and final stage is underway. Behind us we got Alex Bowman, our teammate, as well as the 0-2 McLaren of Eric Jones in P5 and 6. William Byron in that 88 car has gotten himself into the mixes. I'm really tight there on the exit of turns 2, and that's just the effect of those adjustments that we made, and it really affected me there because I could barely turn through the center and on the exit of the corner. Now as we exit turns 4, Byron up my inside there side by side with that Liberty University driver as we start lap 69. Nice now as he is also going to be able to clear me on the exit of turn 2. So we drop down another position on this restart as Blaney is clear of Kyle Busch and Alex Bowman there in that top 3 as we're running P6 Chastain just behind myself. Last time we came to Martinsville, Ross Chastain won this very race against myself there at the end of that one, which was a nice battle that we had with Ross. Now as we're up the inside of Preece through turns 1 and 2, we know that 21 car's got a strong car today, and he was proving it right here because when I have the preferred lane on the bottom, I was struggling to pass him. It took me to lap 71 through turns 1 and 2 to really kind of get an opportunity to clear him, but he still maintains alongside down the back straightaway. So that 21 proving that there is some serious speed because that's the first AI driver that I've seen being able to hold that outside against myself when I'm trying to complete a pass. So we do clear him though eventually. He fell in behind Ross Chastain, so he was down in about P7 as we were running P5 on lap 75 into turns 3 and really struggling once again to run this next group of cars down to Byron, Bowman, as well as Kyle Busch. As a caution though comes out as Ryan Blaney was driving away from the field with 50 laps to go, and nobody is going to be coming into the pit lane here. It's going to be very close on field because as the laps continue on in Martinsville, you do gain more and more fuel compared to the amount of laps remaining, as we're going to get ready to go green here from P5 for what could be the final restart of the day here in the Xfinity 500. So now behind our teammate of Alex Bowman as a green flag is out, and we are underway now on lap 79. So less than 50 laps remain here as we go down into turns 1. Priest is a few rows behind us now, so such a strong car has dropped down to the bottom part of the top 10 now, which, I mean, of course, helps us as we go down into turn 3 up the inside of Kyle Busch. Fortunately for us, though, the tires have been starting to wear, so that's really going to play into my favor, as we're actually going to be able to clear that 18 of Kyle Busch pretty easily through turns 1 as well as turns 2, but I still felt really tight in the center of the corner, and that was really the biggest problem I was fighting at this point here. But you can see we came through to 43 laps to go, and the front two drivers of Bowman and Blaney once again had just been opening up the gap to myself. As Priest, he had fought his way all the way up into P4, and he was running myself down very quickly here within the coming laps. We come through to lap 87. I'm continuing to lose ground to the front two, and then Priest had gotten to my back bumper. I said there's no point in really holding him up, so I leave the door open for him. And then we got Christopher Bell, who's really not been a threat today. All of a sudden, he's up in the mix here as we go down this backstretch, cleared by the 21 of Ryan Priest. But I realized that 20 car as well is way faster than myself at this point, so I was kind of in the same situation with the 21. I'm just going to stay over to the right side of the track and let Christopher Bell go on upon his day and see what he can do here in the final 30 or so laps now. A little bit over 35 laps to go, as now the 88 of William Byron would run me down as well. As you can see how much I'm struggling. I couldn't hang with these guys, and it was really frustrating. And then the 88 of Byron, he passes me there, as I did not want to hold him up. Now as we come through, though, to lap 95, right into this lap traffic, as Alex Bowman had taken the lead away from Ryan Blaney now with 30 laps to go in this race. So I'm looking for the best way to try and repass that 88 of William Byron now, as I know this lap traffic is going to be my opportunity to still get a better finish than what we deserve out of it. And Austin Dillon, he is so slow. He holds up the 88 big time. I get up the inside, so we rejoin the top 5 here after passing the 88. I actually drive into the side of the 3 on purpose there because I was annoyed with him just holding up my affiliate teammate of William Byron. But we would continue on our way, opening up a gap to Byron, who was stuck in the traffic. He was actually fighting against the McLaren of Eric Jones, as well as Kevin Harvick was kind of in the mix there, and Kyle Busch and whatnot. But we were closing in on the back of the 22 of Joey Logano, our rival. We come through to lap 105, and I get stuck behind our rival of Joey Logano. I can't do anything. And Bubba Wallace, he had moved up into P6 eventually, and he was right on the back of me. So I'm stuck here. I couldn't do anything. If I go to the right, Logano puts me in the wall. We reignite the rivalry. Now is actually in front of us, so the 20 of Christopher Bell goes spinning in turns 3 and 4, and that's going to bring out the caution and make it so much easier on myself. We do not have to pass the 22. Now is actually make a little bit of contact with the 20 of Bell, whose day has come to an end here at the Paperclip, as he was up in the mix with a potential race win coming his way. But of course that will not happen now, as we come into the pit lane for half a can of fuel as well as 2 right side tires. You see me re-entering that there because I didn't actually decide right away on that call, but I ended up, sure enough, deciding on half a can and 2 tires. I went back to old Martinsville videos to see what I've done at this point in the race, and I really couldn't actually decide even after that what to do, but 2 tires is what I went with. We gained 3 spots to move up to P2 alongside Ryan Priest, who now has the lead here in Martinsville. As we get back underway, it will be 16 laps ago. We get off to a bit of a slow launch, and that's because of the contact with the 20 of Bell, but fortunately it wasn't too drastic right there as we come through at a turn 2. Byron up my inside. Kevin Harvick made it 3 wide behind us, shuffling back Ryan Blaney, who's been such a fast car here today in the Xfinity 500, and now his chances of winning have just been destroyed by Kevin Harvick in a 3 wide move. As Briscoe moves up into the top 5, Alex Bowman is down to about P6 now, as I'm back into the inside lane, fortunately, behind William Byron. As once again, though, I realized right off the bat we're going to struggle here to hang with both Byron as well as Priest, but I was giving it everything this car had here without, of course, making stupid mistakes. So I was really trying to kind of be careful, but at the same time as push so hard here to try and just maintain with the 88 and the 21, but it was not really working. I was still doing a pretty decent job, I felt like, running P3. I was very surprised to be P3 at this point in the race, because we clearly do not have a car that's worthy of running in the 3rd position. But I realized now, as we came through to 7 laps to go, lap traffic is going to play a factor in the ending of this race. So we still could have a chance to maybe somehow steal a win, but Priest continues to drive away from everybody as now we're kind of maintaining an equal gap between myself and William Byron in these final laps. We come through to 4 laps to go. Really no pressure from behind at this point now as Priest was to the back of Corey LaJoie now as he's trying to work his way through the lap traffic. So Byron, of course, was going to be the next car to that 32 of Corey LaJoie now as we exit turns 4. So I'm just trying to stick with Byron here, maybe try to steal second place and get a nice runner-up finish now as he would go to the outside, get stuck behind the 3 of Austin Dillon here as we approach the final 2 laps in Martinsville for the Xfinity 500. So I'm going to send it up the inside, and now we are going to move through into the second position here with 2 laps to go. A very undeserving runner-up finish I think we're about to get now is actually this trouble out of turns 2. Ryan Blaney goes spinning, collecting the 14 of Chase Briscoe, and that's going to force overtime in the Xfinity 500 at Martinsville Speedway. Ryan Blaney's bad luck, terrible luck, continues today as he once again has a lot of speed in that car, and now his day will come to an end, making that 4 of the last 5 races of finishing 35th or worse now as we get ready for overtime on the front row with Ryan Preece. We don't have a car capable of winning this race, but we're still going to give everything we got as we are underway for overtime here at the Paperclip. Ryan Preece in position to potentially pick up his first career victory now as Bowman forces it 3-wide with William Byron and Harvick as we exit turn 2. I'm very sideways, saving the car thankfully now as Bowman's up my inside as we go down into turns 3. Preece clear as they come through turns 3 and out of turns 4. Bowman clears me, but now the 14 of Briscoe gets up my inside. I'm hanging on for dear life with the grip in this car. We start the final lap now as Ryan Preece leads away into turns 1 and turns 2. So now Briscoe clears me, Byron up the inside as I'm slipping and sliding all over the place on this final restart. Now down the back into turns 3 and 4 for the final time here in the Xfinity 500 now as Ryan Preece out of turns 4 comes through to get his first ever win in the Cup Series as we also get cleared by Byron and manage to flow down to P5 in the final restart here in overtime of the Xfinity 500. But Ryan Preece got the notice of Penske Racing after the Equal Engines Pocono race last season when he ran very well in that 37 car, got the call to go to the 21, and here he is proving that he is worthy of that ride by winning here today at Martinsville Speedway, now putting himself in the playoffs and adding onto the list again of a new winner this season here in the career mode. As the playoffs are going to be extremely interesting here, and you're going to see the grid in just a few moments as you see the rest of the finishing order. A terrible day for Joey Logano. I was hopeful that we would maybe have Logano done from being a rival back to a more friendlier status after this race, but unfortunately that was not the case. You see right there, he is still indeed a rival. I knew we didn't have anything for the 21 on that final restart, but I didn't expect the grip to be so non-existent there, but we fell down to P5. Definitely, I think, overall, the slowest we've ever been at Martinsville overall in the race. We never had a chance to even lead a lap. We didn't lead a single lap at Martinsville today, but you see here that now there's only 5 spots available on points in the playoffs, and we still have like 13 races left before the regular season comes to an end. This is going to be an extremely interesting playoff grid now, as we're still the only multi-time winner in the Cup Series. De Benedetto, first guy out, 3 points, and then you see the other 4 below the cut line. Cindric, unfortunately, now 30 points up. But before we end this episode, I just want to say thank you to the Go On Racing members of MJ, Aiden, Joseph 9001, RJ, Timothy, Bubba Jr., Illinois Diecast, Brett Durward, NASCAR Collector 3, as well as Movement. As I always say, you guys help me out a lot, and I really do appreciate it. And thank you to everybody for taking the time out of their day to watch this episode, and I'll see you guys in the next one at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Coca-Cola 600. Have a great day, everybody.